guys, this is Emma-Louise. I'm going to be your yoga teacher for the next 30 minutes or so, just to give you this nice little deep stretchy flow. This is a really beautiful practice to use either first thing in the morning when you're just waking up and want to introduce a bit of movement to help open out the body. But it's equally really great for around that mid-afternoon slump when you start to feel a little bit lacking in energy and just need a little bit of a pick-me-up. It's really easy for all levels. If anything feels like too much, just take a break or pause the video. So let's get going. Let's start in a nice comfortable seated position, so crossing the legs. We're going to close the eyes down and just come into a few breaths. So just close the eyes down, bring the hands wherever you like, maybe on the knees, maybe one on the chest, one on the stomach. Closing the eyes down, let's take a nice big inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, sigh it out. And again, big inhale through the nose. Sigh it out. And again, inhale. Sigh it out. Gently, just blinking the eyes open, coming back to the room. We're going to bring the hands down by the side so the palms are flat on the mat. Inhale, sweep the right arm up. And then exhale, reaching that arm over to the left. So pressing that left palm down into the mat and then reaching that right arm over. Try to keep the hips both nice and equally connected to the mat. Create space between that shoulder and the ear there. Try not to hunch everything in too much. And just leaning over to the left, breathing into the side body. Inhale, sweep the arm up. Exhale, lower it back down to the mat. Inhale, sweep the left arm all the way up. And then exhale, bring it over to the right. Again, pressing that right palm down into the mat. Keeping the hips both nice and equally connected to the mat. And then reaching that left arm over to your right. Breathe into the side body. Inhale, sweeping it up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, sweeping both arms up to the sky. And then exhale, bring the hands to prayer in front of you. And then just bring the hands down onto the floor in front and reaching forward here. So again, try to keep those hips nice and equally connected to the mat. Have those sit bones really nicely connecting down. And then reaching the hands as far forward in front of you as you can. Melting the chest down towards the floor. Rolling the shoulders back and away from the ears, breathing here. And then gently bringing the hands back into the body. Let's come into a little tabletop position. So bring the hands directly underneath the shoulders, palms nice and flat. And then have the knees about hips width distance directly underneath the hips. And we're going to just start with a little bit of a stretch here. We're going to inhale, reach the right arm all the way up to the sky. And then exhale, thread it underneath the left arm. Bring the shoulder and the head down to the mat. Now you can keep that left palm down on the floor where it is, or you can reach it up to the sky. Or if you want to go a little bit further, taking a bind, bring that hand down and over into that right hip crease there. So the fingertips just come onto the thigh, just gently coming into that little fold. Breathing here again, pulling those shoulders away from the ears. And then gently bring that arm all the way down to the mat again. Inhale as you sweep that right arm all the way up to the sky. And then exhale, lower it down. Inhale, sweeping the left arm up. And then exhale, threading it underneath. Reach that hand forward. Again, you can keep that palm, the right palm where it is, or you can reach it up to the sky, or take a little bind, reach down for that left thigh, pressing the fingers in between that hip crease there. And then gently releasing that hand all the way back down to the mat. Inhale, sweeping that left arm up. Exhale, lowering it back down. Again, just bringing those hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, making sure the toes are untucked, and then taking some cat-cows. So inhale, we're going to drop the belly and start to take the gaze up. Exhale. exhale, rounding the spine, sucking the belly up and gaze to your belly. Inhale, dropping the belly, look up. Exhaling, rounding the spine, sucking the belly up to the spine. Inhaling, looking up. And exhaling, rounding the spine. One more time. Inhale, look up. Exhale, rounding the spine. Gently coming back to a neutral spine. We're going to tuck the toes and then send the hips up, coming into your first downward facing dog. Now, feel free if you need a little bit of movement here, especially if this is the first time that you're moving today, if it's first thing in the morning, maybe just pedal out the legs there, bend one knee, bringing the opposite heel down towards the mat. And then maybe pressing the chest nicely towards the thighs. Maybe inhale, come up onto all tippy toes, and then exhale, lowering those heels towards the mat. Try to have the palms nice and flat, fingertips spread wide, rolling the shoulders away from the ears. And then relaxing that neck, maybe nod the head yes, maybe shake the head no. Maybe just bringing some focus towards your jaw, trying to unclench that jaw. Gently just finding stillness now in the pose. And feel free to start to engage your Ujjayi breath here. So our Ujjayi breath is our yogic breath, and it's breathing in and out through the nose. And typically it starts to create that oceanic sound with the breath. So as we breathe in and out through the nose, we hit that point in the top of our throat with the breath. And it starts to make that slightly more audible, energizing yogic breath. And that's our Ujjayi breath. And equally, if this isn't something that feels comfortable for you today, obviously feel free to breathe in any way you like. And we're going to inhale, soften your knees, look forward, and gently just walking the feet towards the hands, coming up to the top of the mat here now. Just coming into this nice little forward fold. And maybe grabbing a hold of opposite elbow, hanging like ragdoll here. And feel free to have a little bend in the knees if you need one. And again, relaxing that neck. Try to get the crown of the head to really reach down towards the mat. Maybe swaying side to side. Trying not to lock the knees here. We always like to have a little micro bend. And as I say, if you need a big bend, go for it. Give the body what it needs. Don't push yourself too hard. And then just releasing the elbows. As you inhale, we'll slowly roll up to standing. One vertebra at a time. Nice and slow, releasing the head last. And then take another inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky, take your gaze to your palms. And then exhale, hands to prayer, heart center. So we're going to make this start in Tadasana today. So already at the top of our mat, let's bring the big toes to touch, the ankles slightly apart, and then bring the palms by the side facing forwards. Just roll those shoulders down, create space there, and start to feel the energy coming through the fingertips. Start to engage the core, pulling those lower ribs in, and start to engage the thighs, pulling all the way up from the kneecaps, up, 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 nice strong legs. Feel this nice energetic pose. Take an inhale, sweep the arms up, and you can include a little back bend if you like. And then exhale, folding the body down. Bring your nose to your knee. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look ahead. And then exhale, bending the knees, planting the palms. Step your right foot back. Just stay here for a moment. Coming up onto the fingertips. And we're just going to move our hips a little bit here in a nice little circular motion. So just helping just to create a little bit of momentum here. This photo today is really going to be focusing on opening out the legs and with a nice focus on the hips as well. If we go in one direction, go in the other. And then gently coming to stillness You're going to drop that back knee, and then we're going to sweep the arms up, coming into Anjaneyasana here. So we can keep the arms where they are. Remember, have the palms facing, roll the shoulders down, and we can stay here. If you need a little bit of extra support, then you can bring the hands down onto the knees, just interlace the fingers, come down here. You can always bring the hands to prayer as well. If you fancy having something a little bit deeper, maybe tuck the back toes coming into a lunge, so raising that back knee. Try and send those hips forward and really breathing into those hips there. One more inhale. And then exhale, framing that front foot, stepping the left foot back, coming into your plank. Now, again, just get these foundations nice and correct. If your spine is uncomfortable, you have issues, then just maybe drop the knees there for a little bit of support. Wherever you are, start to engage that core, start to feel that nice long spine, and then press down into the palms, start to round the top of the spine. Take one more inhale, and then exhale, drop the knees, lower your chest and chin. Inhale, slide the body forward, lift the chest to cobra. And then exhale, coming through your tabletop, tuck your toes, send the hips up to your downward facing dog. Taking 3 breaths here. Inhale, softening the knees, look forward, gently walking your feet towards the hands. Inhale, lengthen the spine, create space. And then exhale, folding to Uttanasana, bring your nose to your knee. And then inhale, sweeping the arms all the way up. And then exhale, hands to prayer, heart center. We're going to go again with that nice little flow on the other side. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Again, little back bend if you like. Exhale, folding the body down, bring your nose to your knee. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, bending the knees, plant the palms, step the left foot back this time, staying here. Again, just coming up onto the fingertips, and then maybe doing that nice little circle there just to help open out the hips on this side. And remember to go in that other direction as well. And then gently just finding stillness, dropping that back knee. Inhale, sweep the arms up into Anjaneyasana. And again, maybe staying here exactly as you are. If you want extra support, bring the hand onto the knee there, or bring the hands to prayer if you prefer that posture. Or again, if you want to come a little bit deeper, maybe tucking the back toes, raising the back knee. Breathing nice and deep. One more inhale. And then exhale, framing that foot, stepping back to plank. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin. Inhale, sliding the body forward, lift to cobra. Exhale, coming into downward facing dog. Taking 3 breaths here. Again, just really relaxing that neck, unclenching the jaw. Try to keep those shoulders away from the ears. Spread the fingertips wide. Take a nice big inhale. Open the mouth and sigh it out. Beautiful. Just breathing here. Just really try to enjoy this pose here. Start to feel that nice length in the legs. And then take an inhale, sweep that right leg up to the sky. And then we're going to bend that knee and open that hip out to the side. Now, just staying here as you are if you like, or you can always rotate the ankle. Maybe even adding in the knee or the hip if you like. And if you go in one direction, go in the other. And then gently straightening that lifted leg. Take an inhale. And then exhale, stepping it between the hands. Lower the back knee down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Anjaneyasana again. Breathing here. Take a nice big inhale. Maybe a little back bend if you like. And then exhale, framing that foot with the hands. Inhale, sweep that right arm up to the sky. Now, keeping that chest nice and open out to the side. Again, staying here, keeping that back knee down if you like, or tucking the toes and raising that back knee, coming a little bit deeper into this nice twist. Take one more inhale and exhale. And on your next inhale, we're going to bring the body all the way up, coming into this nice twisted lunge here. So again, you can always keep that back knee down, staying there for support, or staying here with the back knee lifted. Try and have that nice 90-degree bend in that front leg, and then really twisting that chest out to the side. Feel that beautiful detoxifying twist. And then flip that front palm. We're going to lower that back hand back down onto the leg there and reaching back for this reverse twisted lunge. Stay with the breath. One more inhale. Exhale, windmill the arms down and then bring the hands down to the inside of that right foot. And then just turn that right foot out. So the toes are sort of facing towards that right corner of the mat. And then inhaling, coming up onto the fingertips. And then exhale, see if you can bring the forearms down to the mat. Now, if this is a struggle for you, feel free to, if you have a block, just bring the forearms down to a block. But equally, a book or something else would suffice as well. If that is just too much for you, then take your right hand, press it into the inside of the right knee, and just push the knee out to the side and let the chest follow that direction as well. So a few options there, just feel free. If you have the forearms down, you want to come a little bit deeper, you can tuck the back toes, raise the back knee. Breathing here. And then gently coming back up onto the palms. We're going to bring that right foot over to the left side of your mat and then lowering your right knee down onto the mat as well, setting up for our pigeon. So the left leg is nice and long, nice and extended behind you. If your hip is pretty high, it's feeling tight or uncomfortable here, then again, grab a book, a block, even a towel, a jumper, anything that you have, and just place it underneath that butt cheek there, just for a little bit of extra support. And then inhale, coming up to the fingertips. Exhaling, walking the hands forward, lowering the forearms, and finally the forehead down onto the mat. So we're going to take 10 nice long breaths here. And just start to notice here, this can be quite an intense pose for a lot of us. Our hips and our hamstrings usually hold quite a lot of tightness. So just notice if you're holding into tension, maybe elsewhere in the body while you're in the pose. So just notice maybe the shoulders, maybe the upper arms, you know, if they're feeling quite tense, just start to use your exhalations to melt the body down in towards the mat. Breathing here. On your next inhale, gently walking the hands back up towards you. Place the palms flat on the mat in front of you. Tuck the back toes. And then lifting that right foot all the way back up to your three-legged dog. And then lowering it down to your down dog. And then inhale, we're going to lift the left leg all the way up. And then bending that knee and opening that hip out to the side. Again, if you'd like to rotate the ankle, maybe rotating the knee, maybe the hip. And if you go in one direction, just remember to go in the other. And on your next breath, straightening that leg, squaring the hips to the mat. Inhale. Exhale, stepping it between the hands to the front. Lower that back knee. Inhaling, sweep the arms up. Breathing here. Rolling the shoulders down. Taking a big inhale, maybe a little back bend as well. And then exhale, framing the foot with the hands. Inhale, reaching that left arm all the way up to the sky. Again, keeping the knee where it is if you like, or if you want to come a little bit deeper, tucking the back toes, raising the back knee, really turning that chest out to the side. And then on your next inhale, bringing yourself up to this nice twisted lunge. Again, keeping that back knee down if you need that support. And then flipping that front palm, back hand coming down to that back leg, and then reaching back with that top hand to your reverse twisted lunge. Staying with that breath. One more inhale, and then exhaling, windmilling the arms all the way down to the inside of that left foot. Turning the toes out so they're nice and in line with the left corner of the mat. Inhaling, coming up to the fingertips. Exhaling, bring the forearms down to the mat or to any support. And again, if that is just too much, taking that left hand, pressing it into the inside of the left knee and opening it out, turning your chest out in that direction. Again, option to tuck the back toes and raise the back knee, coming into your full lizard here if your forearms are down and you feel comfortable. Try to keep the spine nice and long, the neck nice and extended. Breathing here. And then bringing yourself back up. Bring that left foot over to the right side of the mat, setting up for that pigeon on the other side. So extending that right leg nice and long. Again, if you need something to support that hip, that left side of the hip this time, then feel free to place something underneath that butt cheek. And then inhale, coming all the way up to the fingertips. And then exhale, walking the hands forward, lowering the forearms down and the forehead. And again, we're going to take 10 breaths here. I'm just getting used to this new side, remembering one side can always be a little bit tighter, a little bit looser than the other side. So just finding that new level of comfort here and just allowing yourself to adapt, and then trying to use those exhalations to release that tension and just relax down, melt the body down into the mat. One more big inhale. And then walking those hands back in towards the body, tucking the back toes, and then inhale, lifting that leg all the way up, and then exhale, lowering it down to your downward dog. Take a nice big inhale, and sigh it out. Beautiful. Softening the knees, looking forward, just walking those feet towards the hands. And then you're going to just widen your stance so your feet are a little bit wider than hips width distance. And then you're going to come up onto the fingertips, just look ahead a little bit. And then start to bend the knees, lowering the hips down, but try to keep your spine nice and tall as you do that. So try and keep your gaze ahead as you lower those hips down. Bringing the elbows into the inside of the knees and then bringing the hands together in prayer, coming into Malasana. So in this position, maybe close the eyes down if you feel comfortable and just eliminate any distractions from coming in through the eyes and start to use your breath to help guide you. So start to help use your inhales to help lengthen the spine. Try and reach the crown of the head up to the sky, and then use your exhales to press those elbows into the inside of the knees, opening out the inner thighs. Let's take 5 slow breaths here. Gently blinking the eyes open, coming back to the room. You're going to reach your hands in front of you now. I'm just going to change position so you can see it a little bit better. You're going to reach the hands in front of you and then very, very slowly just lowering those hips all the way down to the mat till they hit the mat, and then raise the feet off the ground. You're going to come into Savasana, into your boat pose. So feel free just to grab a hold to the backs of the thighs here. Maybe bring those knees in nice and close, and use this position with the hands to help just pull a little bit on the thighs and roll the shoulders down. Feel that spine nice and long. So you can feel free to stay here with the hands on the thighs, releasing the arms out, palms facing up. Or you can extend those legs nice and long, coming into your full boat. And we're going to stay here. I think we're going to stay here for another 7 breaths. 6, 5, 4, 3, remember to smile, 2, and lowering the legs down, and then lowering the body down, reaching the arms all the way behind you towards the back there. So we're going to come into this nice long full body stretch. Let's take a big inhale. Hold the breath and then clench every muscle in the body, the fists, the arms, the legs, the feet, the face. Exhale, release. And again, big inhale. Holding the breath at the top and clenching every muscle in the body, everything you can. Hold and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale. Clenching, holding the breath, every muscle in the body. Clench, clench, clench. Exhale, release. Beautiful. Bring your arms by your side and then bend those knees. Bring the soles of the feet flat onto the mat. See if you can bring your heels kind of towards the fingertips. They don't have to completely touch the heels, but you want them to be relatively close towards the fingertips where they are. Have the feet nice and flat. Just check in with the body. Make sure those toes are facing in that same direction. So nice straight line towards the back of the mat there. And same with the knees. So make sure they're not going to be flaring out or anything. And then you're just going to roll the arms underneath the body and interlace the fingers there. So see if you can get the arms right underneath, nice and long, fingertips interlaced. Then pressing down the feet into the mat, lifting those hips up and coming into this nice supported bridge here. So again, making sure those knees aren't flaring out, nice straight line. Use your glutes, lift those hips nice and high. Breathing here. Really pressing those arms down into the mat. And try to avoid looking to your right or your left. Just try to look straight up to the sky. Protect your neck. See if you can lift your hips a little bit higher. One more inhale. And exhale, release. Bringing those arms back down by the side. Maybe take a little windscreen wiper action with the knees here, dropping them one side and then the other. Just help get a little bit of stretch there. And then gently, you're going to just raise those knees and feet up into the air. We're going to cross the right knee over the left. Now stay here, or if you fancy taking eagle legs, maybe crossing the ankle underneath the shin. And then bring the arms out into either a T or a cactus, depending on what space you have. And then dropping those knees over to the left. And then taking your gaze over to the right. Now don't worry if you can't cross the knees. If it feels too uncomfortable, you can just stack the knees on top of each other instead. Just crossing them like this just gives you a nice little deeper stretch there in the lower back. But either way gives you a beautiful little twist. Try to keep both shoulders nicely connected down into the mat. Maybe close the eyes down, just breathe here, relax the hips, relax the legs. And then inhaling, bringing those knees all the way back to the center, untangle. And then crossing that left knee over the right. Again, if you fancy taking eagle legs, go for it. Or just stacking those knees together, dropping them over to the right, and then taking your gaze over to the left. Again, just check in with those shoulders. Make sure they're nicely connected to the mat. Closing the eyes down, just breathe. And then untangling the legs, bring them back to center, and then just extend them nice and long. Bring the arms by the side, palms facing up, coming into everyone's favorite, coming into Savasana. And typically we have the legs extended, arms by our side, but if your spine is uncomfortable today, if you feel like bending the knees, bringing the feet flat onto the mat, or maybe bring the feet together, the knees wide, just feel free to take what position works for you. Make sure you're comfortable. Closing the eyes down, opening the palms up to the sky, and just taking a moment here just to appreciate this moment of stillness, this nice little moment of calm. A time that you just have no expectations on you. No pressure, no task at hand, just you and your breath. And remember not to worry if another thought comes into the mind. If it does, just acknowledge that thought and maybe smile at it. And then just exhale it away from the body and come back to the breath. And feel free to pause the video here. If you need to hang out here, take as long as you need. And then when you're ready, I'm just going to roll over to any side, left or right, and just gently come into a fetal position. Keeping the eyes closed if you can. Just take a gentle inhale and exhale. And then bringing yourself all the way up to seated. Just nice and gently, take your time. Closing the eyes down, taking a moment here. Maybe bring your hands to your knees, maybe bring your hands to prayer. Just check in with the body and just thank yourself. Thank yourself for dedicating a little bit of time today, not just to your body, but to your mind. And bringing the thumb to the third eye, just in between the eyebrows there. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.